The day has finally arrived to reveal the car that I've bought in my hunt for a modern classic, investment-focused Ferrari to join my collection. There have been lots of great options, only getting harder and harder to choose between each successive drive, but I've finally made the choice. Despite narrowly missing out at an auction for my dream example, something really special has happened, and today we'll see what you think of the new Shmeemobile. Let's head to where it all began 15 years ago, because there's something waiting for us. Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel. We're back where it all began, and it is time to reveal the Ferrari we've been searching for. The Ferraris that I have in my current collection are all from the current Ferrari lineup. They're cars that I bought brand new. That experience of going to the dealer or even going to the atelier in Maranello, Italy to go and build a bespoke and personalised spec. The first time we did it was with this, the SF90 Stradale, which we did in blue electrico. It's the 1,000 horsepower two-seater coupe. But since then there have been a number of others, like the Puro Sangue and Blue Le Mans, linking back to my first Ferrari, the four-seater quote SUV. We also have the 296 GTS in Rossodino, the V6 Spider, and until recently I had the Roma Spider as well, which we had done in blue Corsa. But with buying a new car means you know the full story of it. There's no weird things in the history. Then you have 4 years of warranty if anything goes wrong. You have 7 years of free servicing with every new Ferrari. But more recently, the specs have got a little bit bolder. We have the 12 Cilindri, the ultimate Grand Tourer with the V12 in Oro Chiaro to link back to the earlier Daytona. Then we have my first Versione Speciale Ferrari, the SF90 XX Stradale, which in tribute to Ferrari's first concept hybrid is in the bright Verde Curse. But these are all new cars, and I've always wanted to go a little bit more back in time. In fact, you guys have been asking for it as well. Something more investment focused, something more of a modern classic. And we currently are looking after my friends at Approved Motor Finance's Ferrari 488 Pista, and that was one of the options on the shortlist. But I tell you what, with buying a used car, there's always a little bit of uncertainty. What if there are problems with it? What if it's very expensive to own? And there's the dreaded D word, depreciation. And you might be surprised by the car that I've chosen when I tell you a little bit about how much money it's lost from new. This series started driving the 488 Pista Spider in stunning Azzurro La Plata during a visit to the south of France. Roof down, great roads, an amazing experience. Next up, we ventured to Ferrari's homeland to drive my good friend Fra's 458 Speciale in what I called a potentially very expensive test drive. Then we returned to the UK and I tested out TFJJ's 458 Italia with an absolutely bonkers exhaust system screaming through the tunnels. Before we then wound the clock back to Richard from Challenge the Road's 550 Barchetta, a limited special series of only 448 units with a gated manual and a V12, only making this decision even harder. However, I have made my choice, and today we're going to find out if you think I've made the right one. This badge right here has always been a very special one for me, as it has for many others. Even my YouTube journey began 16 years ago with one of these. In fact, it was a 458 Italia at a venue in central London where Top Gear were hosting an awards event. That's where the first video on the Shmee on 50 channel began. It sat alongside a Lamborghini Murcielago SV, an identical spec to which has previously resided at the Shmuseum, but today it's all about the company from Maranello. For years, I have thought about purchasing one and mentioning such on the channel countless times. In a car that I'd be particularly interested in adding to my collection down the line as well. Even once, my friend Christian came to visit the Shmuseum with his 458 Spider and jokingly put my original Shmee plate on the car to see what it might look like. But what if I could stretch to the limited series version of the 458 Italia, the Speciale? Look at it, listen to it, this is the car. Posters adorn the walls of Carnut's bedrooms around the world, the last NA V8 Ferrari model. I remember filming the car when it launched at the Frankfurt Motor Show all the way back in 2013, and also out in Dubai. Then in 2014, it won Evo Car of the Year and all of the rest. Not one person that's driven a Speciale has had a bad thing to say about it. But it's rare, and it's hard to find the right car, especially for somebody that loves unusual specifications. And then I thought I found it, an online auction for a perfect example. Buying online can be a risky affair. You have no idea if the car that you're looking at has some secrets behind it, or if you're bidding against somebody who has much deeper pockets than you do. But I had to give this one my best shot. This is it. Last minute and a half. Car on Collecting Cars, currently at £307,000, 70 bids. A lot happening right now. We're into the extension, the overtime of the auction. When there's a new bid, it extends another 2 minutes. But we've got a couple of different bidders, all of whom have placed their bid in the last seconds, in the last minutes. And I'm currently talking to Krish from Approved from AMF to make sure that we're on the same wavelength. Is now when I put in one bid? Do I do 307,500 and see what happens? We're close to my maximum bid right now. But this is a very 308, extended by 2 minutes. Oh, goodness me. So we've got 40 seconds and we're at 309. We're below my maximum, 30 seconds. Does that mean I'm going to place a bid of 309,500? Are we going to do this? It's basically my one and only top bid. 10 seconds to go. I'm expecting to be out. I got outbid immediately. Immediately! Clearly, that's a absentee bid, given it came in immediately. So, my 310,500 place live bid, agree, confirm. Oh, I'm currently the highest bidder. I'm actually currently the highest bidder. I thought I was going to be immediately outbid. Maybe I'm buying a Speciale. Oh my goodness. Oh, I got outbid. Oh. I lost out on this perfect example, but then something happened. Something I could never have predicted. Something that was almost too good to be true. And that is what we're going to get with the Pura Sangue right now. It is the crack of dawn here in central London. The traffic is already busy. We've got Hyde Park up in front. We've just come around Hyde Park Corner. But where we are going, with the taxis chopping right in front, is a place with a lot of significance to this story. We're going back to Michelin House, back to where I filmed that first ever video on the Shmee150 YouTube channel. We're heading through Knightsbridge, where I have filmed so many videos over the years as well. But the Michelin House building was originally their headquarters. It opened back in 1911, and the bay at the front was where you could go to have a very quick tyre change of your car at the side of the road. In the 1980s, it was repurposed, it changed hands, and opened again in 87, which was my birth year, as a new venue with office space, with restaurants, with retail, but now it sits still with the links back to its past. And with Michelin being a long-term partner of the Shmuseum, it couldn't get any better than to head back there to reveal to you the car that we're going to get today. I am so excited for this, being back in the old stomping grounds, the number of videos and views on the Shmee150 channel from videos filmed right in this area. And we're back here really early in the morning. It's 7 a.m. or so, but it couldn't be better than what we're doing today. It's so early in the morning, we have the bright lights of Harrods still illuminated. My YouTube journey actually began because I went to university around the corner there, so I'd be walking around and seeing so many amazing cars literally on these streets. On which topic, Lamborghini Huracan Spider, Rolls-Royce Spectre right beyond it, and look over there, the famous Michelin House with something lurking under a very Shmee blue cover at the front. That is the car we are coming here for in the location of my first video. Let's go park up and come back round because it's going to be time to pull off that cover and show you what's underneath. Excitement is in overdrive for the car we are about to see. The plate has the 10. It links back to 2010 and the start of the channel. Not only that, the quote at the bottom, "Se ti piacciono le auto speciale, benvenuto in paradiso." If you like special cars, welcome to paradise. You might have heard me say that before. This is a special car indeed. This is a special location. Thanks to Petals at Bibendium, we have the opportunity to reveal this car from right where I first filmed one of the videos on the Shmee Mini 150 channel. Should we do this? Should we get ready? Without any further ado then, let's pull back this cover to reveal the car from right here, where it started. And you can probably tell what special car lies beneath. In fact, a little teaser for you. Yes, we made this happen. Let me press the button then to present the newest addition to the collection, the latest Shmeemobile. Let's pull this back because this is my brand new Ferrari 458 Speciale in Avorio. It might be the only one in the world in this colour. We have the racing stripes, we have the grey Alcantara with the beige stitching, harnesses, fire extinguisher. It's been to Topaz, it's fully prepared. I can't wait in a moment to take it for its first drive. But this is arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, modern classic, I think, investment Ferrari, the ultimate car to have chosen in this search. And I've been able to reveal it and take delivery from right here at Michelin House, where this whole story began. Just look at it. A few months after narrowly missing out at auction, but having set my heart on buying a 458 Speciale, can you believe it? I managed to track down and buy the very same one. It's hard to believe that this is my new car revealed to you from right here at Michelin House, the original Michelin headquarters. I mean, look at Bibendium up in the stained glass windows that are all around it. There's a lot of history to this building. In fact, there's a lot of history and significance to me. That's why we're here. And it's a big thanks to Petals at Bibendium for the opportunity to present this car from right where I first filmed the YouTube video. It was driving through this junction when I spotted the Top Gear Awards dinner taking place, the Top Gear Magazine Awards. On the left was the Ferrari 458 Italia in Rosso Corsa. On the right, the bright orange Lamborghini Murcielago LP670-4 Super Veloce, the SV. But this time we're back with my 458 Speciale, and it's the spec of this car that really sold it to me. You see Speciales in red, black, blue, yellow, occasionally unusual colours, but you don't see them in something like this. And I love a quirky specification, a talking point. And this Avorio heritage paint, especially with the dual tone grey, dual racing stripes, all of the interior to match, the grey wheels with the yellow details and accents, and of course the right carbon fibre, that view of the naturally aspirated V8 in the rear, and a return of Xiaomi SH10 MEE that was worn on my first Ferrari, a number of others since, and it's back, linking back to not only when the channel began, but it also happens to be my 10th Ferrari, 10th car from Maranello as well. Come and take a look inside because this just continues the theme. Lots more carbon fibre, the grey Alcantara, again very unusual, the beige stitch to match the exterior, and look at this. It even comes with its original customer matching model to go with the car. Normally those get lost down the line. They very rarely stay with the car onto its third or fourth owner. But look at this, to reveal it here is so special. We still haven't even yet had the first drive coming up. Before it gets too chaotic here this morning, it's time to get this started and to take it onwards. So let's go. 458 Speciale time. I drove my friend's car. I absolutely loved it. Driving this is going to be completely surreal. Key goes in. I love that emotional connection with the car. And of course, the magic red button. The sound of this. I can't wait. Right, we've got a lot to talk about. In fact, let's rewind and talk about how we got to this stage. After picking up the Speciale and getting it loaded into our RT7 from Brian James Trailers, we headed straight to Topaz to find out whether the paint and quality of the car is as good as I hope. While from a distance it looks amazing, when you start to get closer, the old PPF is dated and in need of a refresh, so the removal process begins to get it all off carefully and back to the full Avorio paint. PPF technology has moved on, and not only have the films improved, but Topaz also create industry-leading templates to protect every edge, so the old stuff has got to go. Then it's into the wash bay, because a good clean is vital for the best end result. Starting with the wheels, using the right brushes to get all the way around the calipers and spokes, before getting to Iron X, which starts to show purple marks when reacting with contaminants on the bodywork. After a rinse, fine brushes are used to go through every single gap and around every edge to remove all of the potential bits of dirt that could later get trapped under the new paint protection film. It's then through the motions of a shampoo over the entire car, rinsing it down, and then claying the full surface before drying down with the softest towels possible. It might look perfect already, but let's go find Nabil and talk about what's coming next. Come on then.
There she is.
Tell me what you think. Tell me what you really think.
Can I give you my honest view?
Go for it. I've heard everything.
Honest view. When I first saw this car, I thought that the film has yellowed.
Like old PPF.
Like old PPF. And it brought back memories of the time when PPF used to yellow like this. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? What's going on with the car? No.
I can see that.
But now that I know it's paint, it's quite cool.
It's a super rare colour.
Cool.
It's a historic colour, Avorio
Cool.
Ivory. It's different, and I know it's controversial, but it's the fact that it's a talking point that I love about it.
Yeah.
But you know, this car actually dates back to when I first came to see you guys here at Topaz. It was when I brought in my 650S.
Yeah.
And you had a workshop filled with Speciales.
They
were everywhere.
Yeah, within a month I think we got the whole UK allocation or something. It was loads and loads and loads. Actually, I think I saw the sister car of this, which is the Aperta.
Yeah.
A very similar spec to this with the same color. And I thought the same thing about the film. I was like, oh my God, do we have a manufacturing defect? Yeah, no. But yeah, I remember the cars. But film used to be different back then. Obviously,
it's changed
back
a lot.
then. It's changed a lot. So before, I remember the bonnet used to be like in 5 or 6 pieces or something. Whereas now it's totally different. It's a different animal in its entirety. The fact that the film has moved on, the installation has moved on, the patterns have moved on, it just gives you a totally different look to where it is now.
Because obviously we don't know where this car was originally PPF'd, but even the technology's changing. You know, these areas were a little bit vulnerable because it couldn't install. There were some funny parts over the car, right, going around. There were all these different lines and edges and strange bits. But I think a really interesting point about this, and actually the car that's just there.
Yeah, Tommy's car.
One to one. As cars get to this age, you can refresh them. You can bring them back to life, because that original PPF has taken a battering and bruising. It's got some chips maybe, but you can just unpeel, reinstall it. And while, you know, this car, I'm very open about it. I will take it on a big tour coming up very soon, but
you will.
I've got a longer term picture as well. It's more of an investment focus, and I want to protect it. I think that's such a big part of this, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, even with the film that's currently on there that we've taken off and stuff, it's done its job. It's a disposable item in the way I look at it, because if it's there to protect the paint and it does its job, then fantastic. And now you're refreshing it, making sure that for the next 10 years, it's great.
Yeah, and the car's looking, if I can say so myself, pretty immaculate. You know, brakes, wheels, we kind of have a glance at the interior of it as well.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's clean.
It's very clean. And the thing is, I mean, that's one thing again I noticed is if you look at the calipers, look at the wheel light, the arches, everything just looks like a well looked after car, which is very important. Carbon everywhere here, obviously.
Which can also be protected.
It needs to be protected.
It's got some film.
Okay, good. Okay,
we'll have
perfect.
a proper look over it and check up on that. Another interesting thing that we talked a bit about when you did the Dodici Cylindri up in one of your locations, Hatfield, and your network is just expanding. It's amazing what you're doing, is how you can do different colours and different liveries in the decals and the Topaz shop as well. Obviously this has come like this in the way that I bought it.
Yes.
But these days you can spend so much money on paint colours and
so expensive.
Stripes.
It's so expensive. I mean, something like this I probably would cost, I don't know, between this kind of colour and that, it'll be like 40, 50 grand probably.
On a new car, at least.
On a new car,
at least.
You know what
Ferrari,
I mean?
Lamborghini, McLaren, whoever you're doing it with. But this is where your bespoke side comes in. I was actually in Romania very recently with a friend with a Lamborghini Sian.
Oh, cool,
And it's been PPF'd in painted Topaz paint protection film to a specific colour. You can do everything.
That's why I'm laughing, is because Maz and I were like one day going, there isn't the right colour to match what we want. So what are we going to do? We decided to just get a white coloured vinyl, paint it at the body shop, and apply it on as a decal.
It worked.
It worked.
I'm sure it's not the easiest, but if you want the little scripts and details and stripes, that's a much more, I'm going to say, attainable thing. The other thing on that topic, you've recently launched Tiny T. We need to talk about Tiny T.
I got him in my pocket. There we go. So Tiny T, there we go. This is Tiny T right now. I walk around with this in my pocket all the time. Do you have an idea what these are?
Well, I know, but you probably need to explain.
So this is a car cologne, and what we've decided to do is at the Topaz shop is get a bit more into the mass market, because a lot of people love our brand, they love what we stand for, quality and the customer journey and everything that we do. But this type of stuff is very expensive, you know, to be able to achieve. This is like £6, you know, to get one of these into your car. Smells great. and I'm going to be doing about 6 different types to really emphasize on the different type of emotions that you'd have being in a car. So that's the idea of it.
It's important. Smells and the scent is memories.
Totally. I mean, this is a smell of leather, right? So it's just, if you like the leather smell, then this really does smell like leather. But it is all about emotions. It's all about what you would have thought when you had that smell in your car. Yeah. And it's nice. It's something that I enjoy having in my car. So
I love it. I love the introduction of Tiny T.
Yeah. It's a little guy.
I'm excited to get this out on the road and drive it.
Yes,
knowing that we're protected properly, it's looking beautiful. I'm over the moon with the state of the car. The original PPF did its job, but now it's protected for the next decade or two.
That's right.
It's looking good. It's looking immaculate, and I can't thank you enough for all the work with it.
Mate, it's my pleasure. It's always good to see your cars, and I always like seeing all the different type of crazy cars that you bring in here.
They're never normal. And you get
never normal. We get to see really cool cars here, right? But Tim always brings in something random, and I'm like, what? Where did you find it?
Well, I got lucky with this one. I'm always mesmerized by the process to install Topaz PPF and how this layer of material will ultimately vanish on the car, but protect it from stone chips, droppings and light scratches that inevitably happen along the way. With complicated shapes and even painted stripes to look after, it begins with the panel prep, extra cleaning and claying, especially around the edges, before slip solution is applied to the surface. The pre-cut film is then back rolled into place before slip solution is used above and below for a clean install. Working out from a specific point, the material is gently massaged into position, and bit by bit, any evidence of its presence starts to vanish, and that's exactly the Topaz touch. Fast forward, and the car is complete. PPF installed on every painted panel, all the visible carbon parts, even the headlights. And of course, the interior has also been prepared. This car is looking spectacular, and it's now ready to head out and hit the road. Next thing, something super important. We've come out to Whoops We'll Fix It, because this is a car over a decade old that's still on its original tyres. Now, I like to change them even if they still have tread left after about 6 or 7 years, because at that point you no longer get the best, and thanks to Michelin, we have a brand new set of Pilot Sport Cup 2s to go on. One of my favourite tyres, super sticky, but also usable, daily drivable. So we've brought the 458 Speciale here to Whoops. It's in the workshop, the wheels are coming off, then it'll be a quick change around on the original factory wheels. We could refurb them, but with some miles ahead, I'm gonna leave them as they are for now, getting ready for what's down the line. Once the new tyres are installed back on the car, we'll be able to get it back home and get it ready to take it for the first drive. Fresh rubber, safety first, always perfect and ready to be enjoyed. I can't believe I'm saying this, but here we are on board my 458 Speciale. Let's pop it into race. Let's press manual. We've got national speed limit signs, drop the gears, down through, second gear. Oh yes, this is it, at long last. I never thought this day might actually arrive. We are harnessed in with the 4-point harnesses. This is such an amazing place to be sat. There's something about going slightly back to basics. I mean, look around this thing. Look at the way it's all presented, the view that you have, really low front scuttle. Of course, I drove this road recently with TFJJ in the 458 Italia with his absolutely bonkers exhaust. And of course, I've driven a Speciale recently with my friend Fra in Italy, but there's something different about driving my own car on familiar bits of road on a beautiful, I think we can almost say autumnal day, orange in the trees, no rain falling, which to be honest for the UK is an absolute blessing. We've been very lucky this week, and just this sound to enjoy. It is absolutely to die for. And I tell you what, we're not even in bumpy road mode. If you press the button that I have here on the steering wheel to soften the suspension, it actually gets surprisingly drivable. It's not as hardcore as some of the more modern cars, but yet MSRT Ranger in race mode, it's just amazing. I tell you what, the fact that it's already run in, this is the advantage of buying a used car, and it's already been as well to HRO and Ferrari, my dealer, for a full inspection to go through everything. A couple of bits and pieces here and there that I've had to do, and I'll tell you more about that as well. But following the traffic through the trees, leaves flying all over the place, this is what it is all about. this. 4.5 litres of naturally aspirated Italian 8-cylinder combustion engine. No hybrid, no electric, you and 600 and a bit horsepower to have some fun. And I tell you what, it is unbelievable. Now, I commented when I drove Freddie's 458 Italia that there wasn't actually that much difference between the Italia and the Speciale, and compared to, say, my SF90 and my SF90 XX, the difference between these 458 base cars is genuinely tiny in comparison. Obviously, technology has moved on so much, but down lanes like this with tarmac that's okay, but definitely benefiting from a slightly smaller car than the XX, these downshifts, the roar, this was one of Ferrari's earliest 7-speed dual-clutch transmissions, but still, it's so sharp. And the downshifts, obviously, when you drop it into a lower gear, down second gear, and then rev it out up to 9,000 RPM, and that chirp that you get on the upshift, the car just fills you with feedback and with emotion. The steering in particular is amazing. It's so much more connected, obviously, than the newer cars with their electronic assisted steering, whereas this is just you and now the open road. And I love it. Of course, 400 horsepower down in comparison with the XX, but actually, even though it's still 600, you have a feeling you can use so much more of this, and it's a completely stock exhaust that we've got here. It's nothing, I would say, too crazy, but my word, is it awesome. The roads around here are pretty narrow and tight, but this is exactly what this car is for me. Yes, it's going to go on at least 1 or 2 road trips, obviously. It wouldn't be a Shmeemobile if I didn't, but it's for having some fun and blasting down B roads, for having just the biggest smile on your face. And we haven't even yet got to the tunnel. That is, of course, coming up shortly, so don't go anywhere because it's about to get pretty extreme. I tell you what though, the way it threads down these kinds of roads, you can see how this won the Car of the Year awards back at the time, back in 2014, 2015, because it is so at home here. It is so perfect for it. This car was built to just enjoy. It was built at a time when, oh, Purasangue, going the other way, when the objective was to make the already existing regular model into something more focused. It wasn't about necessarily chasing absolute lap times. It was about this, the smile factor, which I think sometimes modern cars are kind of losing a little bit. One of the things I love with Ferraris, and especially this kind of engine, is if you hold the downshift paddle, listen to it, it just drops down all the gears. You don't have to do each one individually. It's really fun. And then, of course, when you come out the other side of a roundabout on a dual carriageway, and we're not even in full CT off, gosh, this thing is so much about the emotional experience, and what a lovely day. Apologies for any sunshine issues, but my days, this is perfect. In front of us is the famous tunnel. In fact, I'm going to slow it down a notch, pop down my window just a touch. We've got a Vantage coming past. Take third gear. Gosh, not quite as crazy as TFJJ's exhaust on his 458. But I tell you what, this is still pretty epic. It's just super busy, so we might have to come back to enjoy more of this when it's less busy in the future. For now, what a dream day. Wow, this car, even that noise turning it off, what a thing. Welcome, the Ferrari 458 Speciale, to the Shmeemuseum. I need to show you more around it. Before we get to talking about whether this car behind me has appreciated or depreciated, and I think you're probably going to be quite surprised by this one. Some of you will certainly be, but we will get to that because at the moment I have a cheat sheet here of the options on my particular Speciale, because this car is really quite unique. So firstly, it's a 2015 Ferrari 458 Speciale. So they started in 2014. This car is a very rare one though, an incredibly unusual paint color. Now it had just under 8,000 miles on it. It's about 2 miles under 8,000 now, but it did have main dealer stamps throughout the whole of its life. It's been to HRO and Ferrari. It's had, like I said, a full run over. They picked out a couple of things that we could look at, but basically it got a pretty clean bill of health, which, to be honest, was a very pleasant surprise because at the time I bought it, I didn't know that that would be the case. So the first thing, paint colors. Avorio. Avorio in Italian means ivory. It is very unusual. It's a historic paint. And with 458 Speciales, you could get two different types of stripes. So you could have either the full kind of Nart style stripe up the center, or you could have what they call the racing livery, which is this. So these are in, if you come a little bit closer, Grigio Corsa is the main central color, and they're flanked by this pinstripe in Argento Nürburgring. And that combination I really like. I think it works very well with that subtle pinstriping. Then, carbon parts. We start at the front, carbon front splitter, that central part down there. We come around to the side, we've got the carbon front wings. We've then got the wheels, the standard wheel in satin gunmetal with Giallo Modena calipers. We've then got the Scuderia shields, of course, always. At this stage, they'd just started doing some of the airbrush shields, but on a car with a smaller body side like this, definitely Scuderia shields. We then come past to the carbon side fins down here, which I've always thought looked really nice as one of the special details of the Speciale. Come to the back, we have the reversing camera, that's an option, and we also have the parking sensors front and at the rear. Those are the options. It doesn't have the carbon rear diffuser. That was a very expensive piece, I think like $8,000 at the time, and it's interesting if you look at the options of the newer cars. Back then it was really unusual to spec a car like this so highly. Like, it sounds strange to say that now. Anyway, come to the interior, because in here the finish of materials, again, pretty unusual. So the seats are in the Tessuto 3D fabric in Grigio Alcantara for the surrounds, with Nero for that Tessuto fabric in the center. Then the stitching is in beige chiaro, with the Cavallino up at the top of the seats, the headrests, also in beige chiaro. Then you come to the driver's zone. It's got the carbon LED driver's zone, so that's your carbon fiber steering wheel with the LED shift lights. We have a yellow rev counter right in the very center. And of course, also two other things I mentioned earlier. We have the fire extinguisher in the passenger's footwell. And the last is on the seats to have your 4-point harnesses, completely doing away with the 3-points. So if you have those spec'd, you no longer get the 3-point harness. It adds to the experience and the drama of driving, I can tell you that. This experience today, super cool. Come back to the front though, because I want to move on to some of the other things. So obviously we've now got full Topaz paint protection film. It had a weird half PPF before, as you've seen, but it needed that refreshed. One of the big things for me though are the accessories. Both keys, always important. You'd be amazed how many cars when they're 10 years old no longer have both keys on them. So both keys is a big deal. We also have the full owner's manual books and documents. Again, these are things that get lost, but with all the history and all of the service stamps, so that's a pretty big deal. We also have both of the packs. So in here, you've got your tire inflator. And if you come in this, it's got this nice leather strap to take it out. This little pack of stuff here, if I just open it up, firstly, the full owner's book is in the back of it, which is nice. So we've had to look at that already when we were at Whoops to get the wheel torque settings. Sounds obvious, but always better to just check the book. And then if you open this up, look inside here, all the stuff that it came with from new. So for example, even a pair of Ferrari gloves in the car, towing hook, various different things, tools, stuff you're probably never going to touch, but gives you that bit of history, the fact that it's still included in the car. Put that back away properly afterwards. We also have, as you can see, the car cover in its bag, again, something it rarely comes with, plus the charger, although the charger I don't think is the original one from this car, but not a problem, because with CTAC, obviously we have a lot of CTAC chargers, and it will be happy to live on one of those going forwards. So we've got the service booklet, the original warranty card, again, even though it doesn't really mean a whole lot, and obviously my favorite thing, which I showed you already, this. None of these cars still come with one of those. To have that original model with it is a very unusual and rare thing, and I'm going to treasure that on my shelf with all of the other models of the cars that I have bought from new. So spec-wise, absolutely on point. At this point in time, I don't have the full exact list price for all of those options. These started at £208,000. I'm assuming this car with this spec is in the region of £250,000 when it was new. That's where it gets really interesting because, of course, it was more than £250,000 now. But even those of you here in the UK might be surprised by this. Those of you in the United States of America are going to be very surprised by this. So £250,000, or what this cost back in early 2015, in today's money, by the Bank of England's inflation calculator in August 2025, would now be £348,000. I paid less than that. That means this car has depreciated. So I'm buying a car in the hope that it will be an investment Ferrari, but it's depreciated from new. In fact, I paid a little over half of that. So it's lost about £40,000. If you literally look at the money and the way it's moved, it has appreciated if you take a direct physical number, but it doesn't quite work like that because money in the bank would have made you more. Anyway, where that's very interesting is it means I paid a little over £300,000, and I've just taken a look online, and the cheapest Ferrari 458 Speciale for sale in the United States of America in red with a very similar level of mileage and history to this is $760,000 without taxes, which is £570,000, or including tax once you've registered it, something like £620,000. So double what I bought this for. Cars in Europe are also significantly more. So the UK is in this weird bubble where these can be had at extraordinary value. And I'm not going to lie, that played a part and a decision ultimately for me in saying now is the time to get one. I think this has to be a good car for the future. And not just that, it's amazing to drive. Even if it doesn't go up too much, does it matter? No, because my word, it's going to be epic to enjoy. So have I just bought a glorified German taxi? Make of that what you will. To me, this color is so cool because it's a talking point, because it's so different and so unusual on a Speciale, on any car of this kind of era where people basically just ordered them in red. I want to talk a bit about plans though, because it's a Shmeemobile. We don't keep them as garage queens. They're all clean and tidy, nicely neat on the auto stackers, but that's not going to stop cars going out to be driven. That's exactly what we're going to do with this. We are about to embark on a trip to the homeland, to take it back to Italy, to go down to Finale Mondiale via some amazing roads in France and down to Monaco. And there's going to be a lot of fun with that. And you can bet after that, it's going to appear more as well. It's going to go on other things. In fact, one idea is that 10 years ago, if you asked me what were the coolest cars out there, the coolest supercars, back about 10 years ago, 2015-ish, that period, one of them was the 458 Speciale. Another one of them was the McLaren 675 LT. And the third in my holy trinity of supercars was the Mercedes SLS AMG Black Series. And I'm somehow lucky enough to have completed that trilogy here in my own collection, which doesn't feel real. So I'd love to get these cars out together at some point very soon. Something you might have noticed on the video about this car, but I haven't mentioned yet, is that like with the SF90XX, thanks to Carbonio, we have a removable front plate mount. In fact, all you have to do to take this off is that. Super simple, because all supercars look better with no plate on the front, don't they? Anyway, I've now got that. It's just arrived, so super easily we can have this worn on the car properly. So thank you to them. Thank you also to Topaz for all of their work with the paint protection film, to the whole team there. Thank you to Whoops for getting the tyres changed. Thank you to Michelin. Thank you to Approved Motor Finance as well for all they do behind the scenes. And of course, thank you to you guys, because without your support, this wouldn't have happened. Thanks to everyone who let me drive their cars as part of this series and maybe what's coming next. That's all I'm going to say on this one. If you like these kinds of videos, check out the one right over there, but make sure you're subscribed for all the cool stuff in the future. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Cheers.